Hi, I'm Sandy with Lightning Tools, and I'm here again with Brett. How are you?
Doing well, Sandy. Yeah, thank you. It's Friday, so all is good.
That's always good.
Yeah. So,
Great.
how's things with you? I believe you've been
Good.
traveling. Hmm.
Yes. I went to Washington, D.C. for a week, which was really nice. Very trafficy, but we had really good weather and nice fall weather. I do kind of miss the fall
Yeah, yeah. You
down
definitely
here.
don't get that down in Naples, Florida.
No. Yeah. Sometimes I watch a palm branch fall out of the tree, but that's not really the same thing. It kind of goes thud.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, are you looking forward to your sort of 4 days of cold weather in January before it goes back to hot again? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, it is. It has cooled off a bit. It's down in the 60s at night now, so
Uh,
that's good.
at night,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
wondering whether we're actually achieving 60s during the day here.
Yeah. But actually, I am going to some cooler weather on Monday, heading up to Chicago for the 365 EduCon, and really looking forward to that. We have a booth there, and going to be. I'm presenting a session as well on automated notifications in Teams. That's on Thursday morning, and then I'll be at the booth with Jared from Lightning Tools also coming over
Yep.
from the UK, and yeah, I'm excited about our Lego prize this time, which is Halloween themed since it's going to be Halloween week, and it's the Sanderson sisters' house from Hocus Pocus. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah, it's always a fantastic conference. I like that
Mm-hmm.
the size of that event. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's small enough that people can engage with the
Yeah.
speakers and so on as well. If you get
Yeah.
some of the larger events, it's really difficult to track down speakers.
Mm-hmm.
There's just such a crowd of people moving around all the time
Mm-hmm.
that trying to find them can be a real challenge. But I think that size of event, if you're an attendee, don't feel that you can't go and approach a speaker. This is especially in the Microsoft 365
Right.
space. Those speakers are really open to entering a conversation with you, engaging with you, trying to understand what your challenges are, maybe, or what you want to learn, and pointing
Mm-hmm.
you in the right direction. I think it's a great event for that sort of conversation to occur.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's a big enough event too that it does attract the really well-known speakers as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely right. So yeah, Lightning Tools is going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's my daughter's 18th birthday, so
Mm.
I figured that I'd probably better not be away for that week. So yeah, we're going to be celebrating that here, but of course thinking of you guys over there in Chicago and
Mm.
hoping that you have a great time and yeah, also yeah, we can well, obviously you can have a great session.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fantastic, and also hopefully Lightning Tools will be introduced to some new potential customers
Right.
and so on as well at
Yeah.
the event. So
Yeah.
if you are going to the event, feel free to stop by the booth, say hello. uh, Jared, he might not look all that friendly, but he is. I'm joking. No, he's a great guy. So yeah, go ahead, speak to Jared. Check out our Lego and our products and so on. That'd be good.
Yep.
Cool. It's actually a busy month
Mhm.
for events too. We've got next is the or after that is the business show. So
Mm.
unrelated actually to Microsoft 365 specifically, we were there for the first time last year.
And
To
that's
just
in
sort of check.
London, right?
It is. It's in London at the XL Centre, which actually is
Hmm.
kind of like the equivalent of where you're going in Chicago. I mean,
Hmm.
I forget the name of that
McCormick Place. Yes.
McCormick Place, but I mean, in the US, that is one
Mm.
of the biggest
Mm.
exhibition centers
Mm.
that you can go to. I think it's there, Vegas, and also Orlando that have the
Mm. Mm.
biggest
I
places
guess so.
for massive events. So the XL Centre in London is similar to that. It's right on the Thames near the Canary Wharf area of London. It's a huge place. We've got
Mm.
that and the Birmingham NEC, which is not too far away from me. I think you went there actually with
Hmm.
me once we went
Yep.
to the classic car show.
Yep.
That's also coming up soon. Um, but yeah, the business show is really any business. So it's a really large event. It's free to attend. Uh, we're in a specific area, which is like a working from home area.
Mm.
So of course, this is the sort of link in for us. adding tools to Microsoft Teams and to SharePoint. This is helping you when you're working at home. So there may be people that would selling chairs or something. That's what's different between a normal sort of Microsoft event and so on. It might be the right type of chair for working from home or standing desks and so on. But yeah, we're covering it from a software side. So that is going to be the 22nd of November at the Excel Centre. So we're pretty much across from the O2 Arena, if you are aware of that one. And I think Madonna would have been playing around about that time, but she's also going across to Amsterdam, which is also where we're going to be. And we
so
get
you're
to
following Madonna, really?
Sort of, but we're actually going to see Madonna in Amsterdam. So we have tickets.
I'm glad she got better then.
Yeah. So all being well, she doesn't lose her voice by then or anything. We'll be seeing Madonna on the Friday night after the European SharePoint conference in Amsterdam. So that should be great. And yeah, the European SharePoint conference, I mean, that is larger than the EduCon event. I think they usually get around sort of 2,500 to 3,000 people attending, but still a nice size event. But yeah, you probably have to track people down a little bit more in order to be able to find them to have those conversations. But yeah, a really great event, and you get a lot of the Microsoft speakers there and so on too. So yeah, we're also exhibiting. We're not just going to see Madonna. We're going to be exhibiting the ESPC. So that'd be great. So besides the events,
busy.
Yeah, we're also having a busy month getting ready for our DeliverPoint release.
Right.
DeliverPoint being our SharePoint permissions management tool, and there is something very unique about DeliverPoint when it comes to a permissions management tool. There is a lot of governance tools or permissions management tools, reporting tools that are in the Microsoft 365 space. But I don't think I've yet come across one that takes our approach that we have with DeliverPoint. And that is to not just provide this sort of high level view of the entire tenant and giving you the ability to report manage permissions or of course farm as well. It's something that is integrated into SharePoint, allowing site owners or people with full control, maybe you're a site collection administrator, to also be able to report and manage permissions in context with inside that site or document library, wherever you might be. So the reason for that and its importance is the people that are really sort of looking at the permissions from a high level view or governing permissions. If we had an IT department come in and start looking at our sales site and saying, well, why is that document there or that folder been shared with that specific external user? Now, sales are going to have a very good understanding as to why that happened, because maybe that's a potential partner of ours or whoever. And unless you're actually working in that department, you don't have that granular knowledge as to who should have access to your content. But equally, the tooling that comes out of the box with SharePoint isn't granular enough to be able to give you that information. So it's also limited in the fact that you can only check permissions on a folder or a file at a time. And if you've got, even 50 files or folders in a site, that's extremely time consuming. But you look at some of our customers and they've got tens of thousands or sometimes hundreds of thousands of files and folders in a document library, going down multiple levels of subfolders. So DeliverPoint gives you that capability as that site owner to say, yeah, I'm interested in what in this document library has been shared externally or with whom, and being able to maybe select certain folders and say, has this person got the right permissions to these folders in order to be able to do their job and what have you. And IT can't usually depict that because they don't have that granular knowledge that they need. However, they can still use DeliverPoint to do their role, like you would do from other tools as well, from a sort of centralized permissions management role. And that might be somebody who's leaving the organization. We need to check what permissions they had to certain site collections that they would likely appear in and so on. And that's what DeliverPoint is capable of at that level. And you can transfer those permissions maybe to it's going to be replacing them or delete those permissions, etc. So yeah, really great tool. The fact that it is so integrated, it's seamless. We even had one client sign up for a demonstration of DeliverPoint, and he said, I've been using your product for years with a former customer and never actually realized that it's not actually part of SharePoint.
Wow.
He was clicking on the menu items to discover
Mhm,
permissions or look
mhm,
at the sharing links and so
mhm.
on, thinking that's just out of the box
Yeah.
SharePoint. That's how
He
integrated it is. Uh,
he thought SharePoint was better than it is, I
yeah,
guess.
so he joined a new company,
Mm.
and was like, hey, where's this discover permissions option gone? And then realized it was actually a third-party tool. So
Mm.
yeah, there we go.
Nice.
So excellent. Yeah, so we've got some new
Mm.
features that we're pushing out. Yes, Andy, do you want to? I mean, there's two sort of outstanding features that I think are really worth mentioning. There's as with any release, there's some other minor ones as well. But yeah, do you want to tell
Sure.
us a little bit about those new features?
Sure. Well, one is getting a permission snapshot, and that's been a common customer request for a couple different reasons. One is to take a sort of snapshot of permissions within some scope that you choose and certain permissions, and then be able to compare that to then a new snapshot, maybe a month later or something, and see what the delta is, see what has changed. And then another use case would be to kind of restore the permissions to that other state. You can currently, if you perform some permission management action in DeliverPoint, you can mark that you want to allow that to be what's the word we're using in the tool? Sorry, undone anyway, to be able to revert back. But that's just going to do backwards the things that it did when you did the action, not necessarily. And in the meantime, if you're doing that a month later, other things may have changed or something like that. Whereas to be able to revert to a snapshot is a different way of looking at it, to be able to actually go back to the way things were.
Yeah, and there's certain clients that we do have that for a particular site, it can't change
Mhm.
from this
Right.
initial
Mhm,
setup.
mhm,
It's these individuals or these groups of users are the only people that should have permissions,
mm,
and that is it. And actually, taking it from the group approach is quite a good one, because of course when you provision a new SharePoint site, you get the three default groups that have their permissions. Now you can add and remove people to those groups, but what might be really important is that you're only using those groups
mm, mm,
with the permissions, and you may have within those groups from the outset, an embedded Active Directory security group or something. And what you don't want is anybody getting direct permissions. You don't want any additional groups being assigned permissions or so on. But and maybe also sharing links. But if you're a member of that site, then you can absolutely issue sharing links, breaking permission inheritance on folders
as
and
much as you
files.
want, yeah.
Yeah, and you may not want that happening as
Mhm,
the owner of that site. You might want to retain that tight control over it. So of course you could stop people from being able to share, but that means that you're having to get into creating custom permission levels and remove the ability to share or lock down sharing and so on, which of course you could take that approach, but with this feature, yeah, it's great to be able to at some point
kind of
set.
reset, I guess.
Yeah, so I want to have a look at how these permissions of this site have deviated from the original permissions that I want to have in place.
Mm,
Now, when you compare it, you might say, all right, well, I can see that this person has now access to this particular folder through a sharing link, but that's needed.
mm,
um, so so we're going to change our perspective. Maybe we take a new snapshot and say, well,
mm,
now this is the new delta for
mm,
for this particular site, which
mm,
you wouldn't get that flexibility if you just locked it down. So that's really stopping people from doing their jobs by locking it down if they
mm,
did need to share it as part of
mm,
their role. So it allows that flexibility of being able to share content and so on still, but giving you the awareness as to what's changed since the snapshot was taken.
mm,
And then if you want to, you can put it back to the snapshot, but you don't
mhm,
have to.
mhm,
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful feature. And it's not something that can just be performed at the site. You could also include subsites in that as well. So maybe it's an entire site collection that you're taking a snapshot of, or it could even be just down to individual folder or in a specific document library as well. Yeah, there's multiple levels where you could use that feature.
Great. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great addition.
Yeah, 100%. I think that'd be really superb. So we introduced, I forget how long ago it was now, but we introduced
years.
okay, possibly. So I think I mentioned 12 months in my blog post. It's probably 12 months since we sort of re-engineered it,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we created two different types of reports, a discover permissions and sharing links report that you could run as a scheduled report. So DeliverPoint provides you with the ability to produce permission reports in real time. But when you trigger it, it's actually compiling that information on the fly to be able to present to you within the browser the information that you want to see. So in a larger organization, this, I guess, gets trickier based on the sort of scope that you're reporting against. If we're a smaller organization that has maybe multiple site collections that we want to report against, maybe we're looking for a certain person having permissions within inside these multiple site collections, and that's great. DeliverPoint's going to be excellent in that scenario, even in real time. You're going to get your permission report maybe within a few minutes. It'll be there on the browser. You can make changes and so on. If you're an enterprise organization and those site collections are extremely large and you've got hundreds of thousands of items with lots of broken permission inheritance and so on, you can still use the tool really effectively. It's still going to save you a tremendous amount of time, but you perhaps wouldn't want to run a real-time report on multiple site collections because of the amount of time it's going to take to produce that permission report. So that's where the scheduled permission reports can come into play. I don't want to sit there and watch the paint dry and get this report opened up maybe in an hour or two. What I want to do is maybe say, yeah, I'm just going to schedule this. So here's my requirements. This is the document library where I want it to go. We could specify, yeah, I want that to be run every week or every month or every quarter or what have you, and it'll produce that report and we can go and access it. So yeah, we've had that in place for the discover permissions and also for the sharing links. What's new?
Yeah, so we've added a couple of additional reports. Actually forget which ones we've added. I think unique permission reports and
I think name all the other reports.
Yeah,
we got them all.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And also we've made some changes to the setup of that scheduled reporting feature, because it does require some additional setup. But we've made some changes to make that a little bit easier for people to add that feature.
Yeah. Fantastic. So DeliverPoint is one of the easiest products in the world to install. You just simply drag and drop into the SharePoint framework, into the app catalog, and you can go through and just give it the permissions that it needs as an app. So that gives it the ability to enumerate the Active Directory security groups and so on and so forth. But if you require the scheduled permissions features, then that requires a little bit of configuration, as Sandy mentioned. So you may not see the scheduled option inside your implementation of DeliverPoint. So then, yeah, that's where you need to go through, tick a few more boxes on the setup with Azure and so on, and that will then give you the ability to schedule your reports, which is really powerful. The other reports actually include there's lots of site collection scoped reports. So if you consider like the dead account report, the dead account report that we offer, it actually looks at dead accounts and also disabled accounts as well as two separate things. So a dead account would be somebody that is no longer in the Active Directory, but they have permissions assigned to them somewhere in the site collection. In order to be able to produce that, DeliverPoint has to enumerate everything inside the site collection in order to be able to know whether it's a dead account or not. So that if it's a extremely large site collection, again, you may be waiting some time for that to finish. So running it as a schedule would be a great one. And you could just, again, run that quarterly, spot your dead accounts, maybe then go ahead and remove them. Does the same thing with external users and licensed users. We've also got the unique permissions reports as well. that you can run. So the unique permissions report, that scenario that I mentioned on the outset was somebody leaving the organization. If you really wanted to be able to go through and check it, multiple site collections for where they're permissioned, and it's a large environment, you could go through and still select all those multiple site collections and run a unique permissions report. So it's just spotting where that person's been assigned permissions, so you know where to go ahead and remove them from. So
yeah, I would say that's a pretty common ask that customers have, of the type of thing that they would like to do in the whole organization, more so than just in specific sites.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, really worthwhile implementing those scheduled reports. That's something that you can do,
Yep.
and we just expanded the amount of reports that are made available to you. So
Yep.
so I think they're the two main features. So you can learn more about it. You can see it in action by attending our webinar,
Yes.
which is
That'll be something around November 13th-ish, I think. But yeah, and we will again have two webinar sessions, one geared toward our APAC area customers or potential customers, and then one geared toward Europe and the Americas.
Yeah, so it's 15th and 16th of November. But yeah, so the 15th is the Wednesday here in the UK, at least.
Right. Would there be their 16th still?
Yeah, it'd be their 16th. And then we've got one on the 16th itself. So you'll be able to go onto lightningtools.com/webinars and register for one of those two events. You can also download the product as well. So as a trial, you can schedule a private demo. So if you've got specific needs around DeliverPoint or permissions, sign up for a demo. We'll be able to demo all of that to you. And there's also a blog post that we pushed out today. So if you go to our blog site, you just want to read about it more and see some screenshots, you'll be able to do that as well.
I'll put links in the YouTube description.
Fantastic. Thank you. So busy month.
Yes.
Look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks on our next episode of the Lightning Tools Chat.
Yep, same to you. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Sandy.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.